It has been our pleasure to enhance the voice of the women in dealing with the national affairs. I am a very lucky person because in 1962, when we got independence, I was exactly 18 years old, and I was there when everything was happening. I was in the senior two, but I was already a very active member of the youth of the Democratic Party. I was therefore following everything. At that time, the number of members of parliament was 82. I remember very well. UPC had won 37 seats outside Buganda. DP had won 24 outside Buganda. And then Kabaka Yeka, which had refused direct elections in Uganda, had been allowed to nominate 21 members of parliament from Buganda. So you can work out the mathematics. 37 plus 24 plus 21. Then, once that group met, they elected another 9 who were called specially elected members. So you can total up the number. And you should have these records in your secretariat, because you should know the history of the women movement in Uganda. This is part of it. Now, out of that number, whatever it is, 37 plus 24 plus 21 plus 9, I remember only 3 women, either 3 or 2. You can go and check. The ones I remember clearly were an Indian lady called Ardina Viziram, who was actually alive until recently. She used to be our supporter in London. She was alive. Ardina Viziram, and then Florence Rubega. Somebody said there was a third one, but I don't remember the third one, but you can dig it out. But the ones I used to see and remember, because I'm just relying on my memory. I'm not using the documents or anything. I just remember what I saw. I'm telling you what I just saw. So you can see independence, 3 MPs or 2 out of the other total number. I think it was 82, the total, if you add 82. Now you can see the percentage. I don't know what percentage that one is. That is why, therefore, and those men, the parliament was majority men, big majority. They messed up the country. They really messed up the country. By 1964, the whole government had collapsed. It lasted only two years. 66, it was already a crisis. 71, Amin came in. But all that time we were developing as youth. That is how, by 1965, the youth of, some of us, the youth of DP, got in touch with the other youth of UPCs, the Kategayas, the Rugundas, those were terrible UPCs. And we said we should form a new line. That's really how the NRM started, 1965. Rejecting the politics of identity, because those parties were all based on identity. DP was for the Catholics, plus a few other groups. UPC was for the Protestants, and DP was for the Baganda Protestants. Therefore, in 1965, we started a new line. We said, no, this is rubbish. We're not going to continue with this, exploiting identity, exploiting sectarianism. That's how we formed this new group. It started as, we used to call them student study groups. But eventually, it really became the FRONASA, and eventually became the NRM. So you should get those facts. That's why, therefore, when we had a chance, when we were in the bush. Now, before I forget, in 1979, 78, 79, when we were fighting Idi Amin, we of FRONASA recruited women on the western axis through Mbarara. Other Ugandans were coming through Masaka, through Mutukura Masaka. On our side, we created a women wing. Recruited women, trained them, and formed them into a wing. When Amin collapsed on the 11th of April 1979, then we came to Kampala. We had been to Moshi and formed a group called UNLF under the guidance of the Tanzanians. But when we came into the government, our partners said, no, we don't want women in the army. Women, what are they for in the army? Jeshi ni ya wanaume. But we said, but army is for shooting. You look through the sight of the gun and you shoot. And women are better marksmen than men, because after all, they pass the thread. Through the eye of the needle. They are very good markswomen. They are very good sharpshooters. Why? So, please, don't tell us. Now, at that time, Uganda was what Banyankore called Kabetemere, a banana plantation which has no owner, where everybody comes and cuts banana and eats. So because we were so much confused, we couldn't, we had no say. When we met with our colleagues, they said, no, don't tell us about women. And really, it was so painful. I had to tell those girls that you people, you go away. We have nothing to do. This shared power, they don't agree that you join the army. So we had to disband those women. So painful, because they were so good, so committed. But we withdrew after some time, after 1980. We withdrew from that confusion and went to the bush. We said, okay, since this government is useless, let's go to the bush and start afresh. Now, when we went to the bush, then we started our line again. The committee of 9, one of them must be a woman. The RCs, we're calling them resistance councils. So therefore, the line of the NRM on women is both philosophical and strategic and practical. It is both, it is the three. So, the philosophy of the NRM had answered that issue long ago, that Mukali Muntu. For us, we knew it was not a debate. It was clear that the woman is a full human being, and with a lot of potential, sometimes even more potential than many men.